What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to TTB Ravens Media, bringing Ravens content every single day. If you want to see daily Ravens content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below and hit the notification bell as well if you want to get notified every single time I put a brand new video. Now, this is going to be a news break video slash an analysis video because James Bradberry was just informed that he would be released by the New York Giants, and I'm going to be talking about that and why the Baltimore Ravens must go after and try to sign him. Before I get into this video, guys, last night we had our first ever live discussion with you guys on Airtime. So if you're not already in the Airtime group, you can talk with us, with just your voice. You can turn on the video, whatever you want to do. Whenever people want to go live and talk with each other, talk with us, we can do that. It's a lot of fun. We were just talking about some random things. We were talking about the Kendrick, song that came out in the video and stuff like that. A lot of fun. So make sure to go join that. But let's get into it. James Bradberry was a cornerback that a lot of people were saying the Ravens should try and trade for because they felt like with the cornerback depth the Ravens currently have, they need to get an established veteran. Now, we all know how great Iman Marshall is, and I'm sorry, guys, I love Iman Marshall. Marlon Humphrey, Marcus Peters, those guys are great. However, behind him, we have a lot of question marks. Now, I love Iman Marshall. However, we don't know how, if he's going to be able to play, how good he's going to be when he gets on the field. And then we have a couple of rookie cornerbacks, and then we have very old veterans. So we really only have two established cornerbacks in our secondary. Now, the safeties are great. But we need that depth at the cornerback position, especially because two of our cornerbacks, our two cornerbacks are coming off of season-ending injuries. So we need to make sure that we have a guy week one that's able to be at 100%, and James Bradberry could very well be that guy. So, looking at James Bradberry, he's got, he's a good age. He's not too old. He's the right age for the Ravens to try and get him. All right. He's 28 years old. He's probably going to be, I believe, 29 when the season starts up. But what that allows for is he's not one of those veterans that the Ravens often sign where it's okay, they're 33 years old. They're a cornerback. Come on, they're a back end of the depth chart. No, James Bradberry can come out and be a starting cornerback in the NFL. And the benefit is he would be the third string cornerback. And as a third string cornerback, I think he could flourish. Now, last year was not his best season with the New York Giants. He did have 4 interceptions. However, he was not amazing in coverage. However, getting those interceptions was key. The Giants defense was nowhere near as good as it was in previous years. The pass rush wasn't getting there. The other cornerbacks weren't playing to the standard that they would hope they would play to. But Bradberry was the clear guy in that secondary, and he did his job. He got interceptions. He turned the ball over. But his best season in recent memory, I believe, was 2020, where he only had 3 interceptions compared to 4. However, he was not allowing receptions. He was low in targets. He was a very, very good player in 2020, and that's who the Ravens would hope they would be able to sign. Because if you have a player that can hold down receptions, not allow receptions, that is the best thing a cornerback can do, in my personal opinion. Now, some people would argue no, getting interceptions is better. That's a philosophical difference that people can have. However, I'm a believer in you want a guy that's not going to allow receptions rather than a guy that's going to get picks, because receptions are more controllable. All right, locking down a player is, I hate to say easier, but it's more predictable than getting an interception, because even if you get an interception in a game, that may mean that you bit on a play earlier in that game and you got beat for a touchdown. However, if you're just saying, Jalen Ramsey style, I'm not saying he's Jalen Ramsey, okay, but Jalen Ramsey style where it's oh yeah, 4 receptions, 45 yards for one of the best receivers in the NFL. That's invaluable. That is crucial. Now, James Bradberry could be that guy on the third string wide receiver. He's not going up against DeAndre Hopkins. He's now going up against James Washington. I know now he's with the Dallas Cowboys, but a guy on the much lower end of the depth chart where they don't have the savvy route running, the tremendous skill that the top level receivers in the NFL have. That can be Marlon's job. That can be Marcus's job. And James Bradberry can lock down that third guy and be a great depth piece for the Baltimore Ravens. Now, his contract, I believe by releasing him, the Giants are saving around $10 million in cap space. But I honestly think the Ravens could get him on maybe a 1-year deal just because he is coming off of one of his worst seasons in the NFL, especially in recent memory. So maybe he goes for a 1-year cheaper deal. I'm not saying he's signing for $2 million. I'm thinking maybe $8 million the Ravens could maybe get him for. If the Ravens are able to do that on a 1-year deal, that is a very good depth piece. And it's not like a back end depth piece like a lot of the undrafted free agents are. No, this is a depth piece at the top level of the depth chart, right? Cornerback 3 is still usable. Marlon Humphrey's rookie season, Jimmy Smith was cornerback 1, Brandon Carr was cornerback 2, Marlon Humphrey was cornerback 3. I think at the end of the year, Marlon kind of jumped over Brandon Carr, but all of them were crucial to the Baltimore Ravens defense. Now, whether or not Brandon Carr was a great cornerback in some games is beside the point. They were all out there consistently because those were the top 3 guys. Bradberry would be in that top 3. We are in a passing league. Oftentimes, teams are going out with 4 wide receiver sets. That means we have a nickel cornerback out there, which could be a Brandon Stevens. Then we have out Marlon Humphrey, Marcus Peters, James Bradberry. That would be a very, very good cornerback group. And not to mention the safeties we would have out there as well, and Kyle Hamilton and Marcus Williams. That would be incredible for a secondary, and it would just add just great depth for the team to have at a position that they have been lacking depth in over the last couple of seasons. Really, that's been the key issue for this team. They just kept losing, whether it was Tavon Young getting hurt, Marlon Humphrey getting hurt, Jimmy Smith getting hurt. Like, for the past almost decade, it seems, the Ravens have needed more cornerbacks than they have at the end of this season. Every single time. Whether it's they need a cornerback 1 or a cornerback 3, that's besides the point. They need guys. Bradberry is a player that has been able to get out on the football field playing in 17 games, 15, 15, 16, 16 over his last 5 seasons. He's missed 2 games in the last 5 seasons playing with the New York Giants and the Carolina Panthers. That's crucial, right? Getting a player that can get out there, that has experience guarding top-end wide receivers to be a solid depth cornerback or rotational cornerback. I think rotational is a better way of saying it because he is in the rotation. He would play. I think that it is a must sign or at least must target for the Baltimore Ravens. They need to call him. They need to bring him into the building. Whether or not he chooses to come to Baltimore, I don't know. He may be looking for a lot of money because he recently got the big deal with the New York Giants. We don't know exactly what he's looking for. He may be looking for a multi-year deal, with a lot of guarantees, or he may be looking for a prove-it deal so that he can go out there next season and get the hopefully $15 million that he's looking for over a multi-year period. Guys, I think James Bradberry would be an incredible signing for the Ravens to have. Let me know what you guys think about James Bradberry. Should the Ravens go out and get him? I thought they should have traded for him. They didn't, so that saves them a little bit of money and a little bit of draft capital or whoever the Ravens were potentially going to offer. But now he's on the free market. Let's hope that the Ravens are able to snag him up. But guys, make sure to join the airtime. Make sure to let me know what you guys think about James Bradberry. Thank you guys so much for watching. Subscribe for daily Ravens content, and I will see all of you again tomorrow.